You are going to want to hear what Mariah May just said about Mercedes Mone, two of the most powerful women in AEW, two of the most powerful women in all of pro wrestling. Now, these two have not gone on a collision course. They've not shared the squared circle and wrestled it out, but give it time. It's going to happen. Obviously, Mercedes Mone being the TBS champion, something in which she's been for almost a year now, right? Over 6 months. Mariah May becoming women's champion after beating Toni Storm at All in London last August or so. And they are eventually going to get it on. All right. They're eventually going to wrestle each other. But until then, well, the words are starting to flow. The words are starting to fly. And Mariah May did that. And she actually got the internet talking because of her comments. Keep in mind that when AEW signed Mercedes Mone, they did so for big money, for a big opportunity, because they saw her be someone that can draw for them, bring outside eyeballs to their product. Has that happened? Not necessarily, but has she been a welcome addition to the AEW roster? Yes. Has Mariah May, since signing with AEW, been a welcome addition to their roster? Yes. Have both risen up the ranks. Not necessarily with Mone. She was brought in as a top star, obviously, and quickly won the TBS championship. Mariah May, she paid her dues. She was aligned with Toni Storm for the longest time, and then obviously they did that huge breakup angle, and they're going to be rematching at Grand Slam Australia this Saturday. Now, Mariah May was on Casual Conversations, and she spoke about the upcoming match with Toni Storm at Grand Slam. And she also shifted her focus to Mariah May. Now, we will get to her comments about Toni Storm here in a minute, but I want to keep the focus on this video, and I want to keep the focus on Mariah May and Mercedes Mone, because that is a big match. It's a dream match for a lot of people, and it's a match that AEW can absolutely draw with. And if you have something in which you can draw with, well, you might want to go with that, especially in this day and age with AEW, with a declining interest, social media engagement down, television ratings down, attendance is down. It's all down across the board for AEW. But perhaps this is a match that can help spark some interest, and especially in the AEW women's division. And this is what she was talking about. So she was talking about how Mariah May, that she's a company woman and that she will do media for the company. And she felt disrespected that she is not in the same spotlight as Mercedes Mone as women's champion. That's what she had to say. I'm the most stand-up company woman. That's why I'm doing the media that they have. It's disrespectful. They don't want me out there because I'm going to outshine their golden girl, Mercedes Mone. That is a problem, I think, that AEW faces. You have the TBS championship held by Mercedes Mone. Now, on paper, and common sense would tell you, Mariah May is not as big of a star as Mercedes Mone. Mercedes Mone is a much bigger star than Mariah May. I think most people would agree with that. I think most people would also agree that the women's championship, from a prestige and a lineage standpoint, is a much bigger championship than the TBS title. The only problem is they have it in reverse. So you have the TBS championship, and it's held in a much higher regard, in my opinion, than the women's championship. Why is that? Is it because of Jade Cargill's long, dominant TBS championship run? No. Is it because Mercedes Mone's long, dominant run? Bingo. Mariah May is not a bigger star than Mercedes Mone. And I give AEW credit for trying to build up the TBS championship. I give them a lot of credit, right? Because it is a secondary title. It is a quote unquote mid-card title, an upper mid-card title at that. So they tried to make it a big deal with Jade Cargill. I think they did that. They try to make it a big deal with Mercedes Mone. I think they've done that. But I think they've also done it at the expense of the women's championship, because as good as Mariah May is, it's not seen, in my opinion, on the same level. Now, to change that, if we're talking about Mariah May versus Toni Storm, then yes, that is a bigger feud, therefore making the title much bigger than anything that Mercedes Mone is going to do. a la Grand Slam. I think Mariah May and Toni Storm is going to be the main event of that show. Currently, AEW is having Mercedes Mone feud with Harley Cameron. Now, Harley Cameron is a very good in-ring talent, and she's actually very charismatic. And it's actually a nice change to see that. The only problem is she hasn't been around in AEW for quite some time, and even during her tenure, she hasn't been used in a top spot. And I think it's one of those where she's being put in a big-time situation, and that's great for her in her career, but I don't think fans take her necessarily seriously as a top-tier draw. And it's a top-tier star. Therefore, a realistic threat to dethrone Mercedes Mone as a TBS champion. Mariah May, she could realistically get beat by Toni Storm. Now, I don't think if they're going to do it necessarily here. I think they're going to do it down the line because it doesn't make much sense. Toni Storm had a long, dominant run as women's champion, but crazier things have happened, right? Like, we're in February. It's no longer August, right? So that could change. Now, in regards to Mariah May's comments about Toni Storm, this is what she had to say. I'm going to use the next. We got a little bit of time until Australia, so I'm going to use those weeks to figure out what's going on. But ultimately, I'm going to fly all the way to Australia to wrestle a rookie. I think that's a total and utter waste of my time and disrespectful to me as the world champion. But what else is new? All AEW does is disrespect me and keep me backstage when I'm the best person they have on the mic and I'm stuck backstage. So fine. I think Mariah May, just spoken character, so keep that in preference. She's not shooting on the company or anything like that. Mariah May's an interesting talent because she has been pushed up the card quite quickly, right? She made a name for herself in Japan, and she's done really, really good things over there. And she's done a lot of great things in AEW. By far and away, her best creative, the best thing that she's done is with Toni Storm. But Toni Storm is their best character, in my opinion, that AEW has. Not only in the women's division, but in the men's division. She has her character down so well that it is leaps and bounds better than anything that the men can do. That's definitely better than the Death Riders. That's better than Swerve. That's better than Hangman Page. You go down the list. Toni Storm, for the last 2 years, in my opinion, has had the best character out of anyone. She has it down to a T. She knows exactly what to do, what to say, and how to revoke emotion. And I think she's going to continuously do that. And then she does it very, very well. So let me know down in the commentary below. When do you think Mariah May and Toni Storm, Mercedes Mone and Mariah May, when are they going to wrestle and who goes over in that match? I would say Mone, but I think Mariah would actually benefit from it better. We'll see.